You ever have one of those days, or maybe weeks, where you feel like you're just drifting? Getting pulled along by whatever comes your way. Now think about the total opposite of that. The feeling of being an architect, of actually designing your life, piece by piece. Well, that shift from drifting to designing, that's exactly what we're going to get into right now.
So this idea comes from a philosopher named Ernest Holmes. He basically said that we all have this incredible power of choice. But, and this is a big but, when we forget to use it, we just default to drifting. Life becomes something that happens to us. The alternative? That's designing. That's when we use our choice to make life happen from us. It's a game changer.
So our whole mission here is pretty simple, but it's really powerful. We're going to take this big idea and turn it into a practical tool you can actually use. A way to consciously shift out of that reactive, drifting mode and into that proactive, designing state of mind.
And here's the game plan. First, we'll nail down what real choice even is. Then, we'll look at the two programs that can run our lives, the automatic reaction loop and the much more powerful choice loop. We'll see how it all works with a few examples, do a quick practice together, and then wrap up with what's next. Sound good?
Okay, so what is real choice? Technically, we're always choosing something, even if we're just drifting along. But most of that is totally unconscious. Real, conscious choice is different. It's a deliberate mental process, a skill, and it's made up of three key parts.
And that's the key thing to get here. Choice isn't some big one-time event. It's a process. Think of it like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets, and the better you become at really shaping your own experience, moment by moment.
So here are the three gears that make the whole engine of choice work. First, you set your direction. You get a clear mental picture of what you want. Second, you choose your response, how you're going to interpret and react to whatever is happening. And third, you take your next action. Just one single, deliberate step. Direction, response, action. That's the formula.
Now let's talk about the default setting for, well, most of us a lot of the time. It's called the reaction loop. This is the autopilot program that runs when we're drifting, and it's how we get stuck in those same old automatic patterns.
It works like this. Something happens. That's the trigger. Let's say you get a kind of critical email from your boss. The automatic reaction? Your stomach tightens, you get defensive. And the result? You fire back a tense reply, and that relationship gets just a little bit more strained. Trigger? Automatic reaction, same old result. We've all been there, right? You're stuck in that loop, and it feels like you're not even in the driver's seat. But what if you could break that chain? What if there was one simple thing you could do to change the entire outcome?
Well, this is it. Probably the most powerful tool you have for shifting from reacting to choosing. It's the pause. It's that tiny bit of space you can create between the trigger and your reaction. It might only be a second long, but trust me, your freedom lives in that second.
And this goes right back to Holmes's big idea. He said, we're all free agents, but we have to actually realize our own power before we can use it. And that pause? That's the exact moment you realize you have the power to choose.
The pause changes everything. It interrupts that automatic loop and puts you back in charge. You shift from being the effect of what's happening to being the cause of what happens next. So let's go back to that email. The email hits your inbox, but this time, you pause. You take a breath. Instead of that defensive feeling, you choose a new response. Maybe they're just having a stressful day. Your next action is totally different. Maybe you walk over and say, hey, got a minute to chat about this? The result? A productive conversation, not a strained relationship.
And look, this isn't just for work emails. This whole choice loop, trigger, pause, choose a response, take a new action, this works for everything in your life. Let's look at a couple more examples.
Let's see how this plays out. In relationships, right? Your partner comes home and they're quiet. The reactive thought is instant. Oh no, they're mad at me. But if you pause, the chosen thought could be, you know what? They probably just had a really long day. That changes your next action from confrontation to compassion. Or think about habits. That 3 p.m. energy slump hits. The reactive thought is, I need sugar now. The chosen thought, what I really want is sustained energy. Your next action becomes grabbing a glass of water and going for a walk, not reaching for that candy bar.
See, this is the core principle in action. Like Holmes said, our inner thought creates our outer world. The belief they're mad at me literally creates an experience of conflict. The belief they're tired creates an experience of connection. What you believe shapes what you experience. It's that direct.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about the theory. Let's make this really practical. We're going to do a very quick guided exercise right now to help you actually feel this for yourself and start building that muscle of choice.
And what we're looking for here is what we'll call the choice point. That's just the name for that incredible moment of power, that pause between something happening and how you respond to it.
All right, just wherever you are, take a second. First, I want you to bring to mind a recent minor frustration. Something small, maybe getting stuck in traffic or a tech issue. Got it? Okay. Now just pause and just notice the automatic feeling that comes with that thought. Annoyance, stress, whatever it is. Don't try to change it, just observe it with no judgment. Now gently ask yourself, is there another way to see this? Any other possible interpretation? And finally, based on that new perspective, choose just one small different action you could take, even if that action is just taking one deep breath.
That little gap you just created, that space between the frustrating thought and your choice to take a breath, that's it. That's your power. That space is your freedom.
So let's bring this all home. What we've really been talking about is this huge shift from being a creature of circumstance to a creator of circumstance. It's about moving from just reacting to life to consciously co-creating it. So here are the big things to take away. First, freedom isn't some abstract thing. It's the conscious use of your choice. Second, you can shift out of that automatic reaction loop and into a deliberate choice loop just by using the pause. Remember that little formula? Conscious choice equals your direction plus your response plus your next action. And maybe most importantly, your thoughts and your beliefs are literally the building blocks of your world.
And that last point really comes down to this core idea from Holmes. Mind is the cause, your life's conditions are the effect. This is the foundation for everything we've covered, and it's the perfect setup for our next explainer, where we're going to dive deep into that law of cause and effect.
So I want to leave you with one simple question to carry with you. It doesn't have to be a big deal. It could be choosing a different thought, a kinder response, or one tiny action. What is the one thing you will consciously choose today?
Like I said, our next explainer is all about cause and effect, so make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss that one. And if you prefer to listen, you can find the audio version of all these explainers in our explainer audio playlist. The link is right down there in the description. Thanks for watching.